And just like that, the final episode of the recording session has begun. Welcome back to Eternal Sonata, Dawn of the Apes. There was a joke in there somewhere, I just don't know where it was. Anyway, I am your host, MegaShadowFist. I suck at video games, I suck at commentary, and we are playing Eternal Sonata. And we are this is one of the most botched intros I've done in quite some time. Whatever the case may be, when we last left off, we went inside the tower, and did some trials to open this gate over here. We've opened the gate, so now we can go. I wonder what the old man has to say now that we opened the gate. Frederick? Wow, you actually opened the sill? Nice going! Now you can go to the noise dunes, but there will be lots of hungry monsters there, so be careful out there. Well, good luck! Don't forget, the 4 mirrors become monsters and the flowing time collects at the bottom. The 4 mirrors become monsters and the flowing time collects at the bottom. Well, I guess we are walking on sand. Sand of time. The sands of time? But what about the 4 mirrors become monsters? What exactly does that mean? Interesting. Oh, he went straight into, like, another dungeon already. Like no prep time or anything. No cutscenes. Just dungeon. Alright, whatever.
Don't be such a crybaby.
What are these called? They're obviously not going to be called. What? These guys are fast. These guys are fast. Okay, whatever. They don't do a lot of damage, it doesn't seem like, but they're still fast. That's annoying. Alright, whatever. I'll beat you up a little bit, do a bit of a bone crumble on you. Boom! Saying a little bit reminded me, like, if you guys ever heard, like, that one song, it's like, a little bit of Veronica by my side, a little bit. And it doesn't sound like that, though. I just remember in a Goofy movie, for the VHS, they had like a, I can't really say it's a cover because it used the same singer, but like instead of using like Veronica and whatnot, they used like Minnie and Daisy. I'm not even sure if I'm explaining myself properly. Like it was a bonus music video at the end after you finish the movie on the VHS for a Goofy. Have you guys ever owned a Goofy movie on VHS? A Goofy movie on VHS? I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person. Of course, I'm not the only person in the world who's owned a Disney movie on VHS. Even more specifically that one, because that's like everybody who. I don't know. I shouldn't say everyone's seen it. I've known some people who haven't even seen freaking like Cinderella and stuff. So freaking probably couldn't tell the difference between Sleeping Beauty and Snow White. I'll be the first to admit that sometimes I do get them mixed up from time to time. You know, not because I think they're easy to confuse per se. It's mostly because, you know, it's all about, you know, there's like a girl, like the main princess is sleeping for certain reasons. One for eating a poison apple and one for... Actually, I haven't seen Sleeping Beauty now that I think about it, so I actually don't even know how she fell asleep. All I know is that, like, the witch, what's her name? Supernova! She was basically like the main villain in the Kingdom Hearts. You know who I'm talking about. Maleficent. She turned into a dragon at the end. She's like, "Ugh!" And then the knight had to come and like slash him up. He's like, "Ugh!" It was cool. It was cool. There's no way to stop my. That makes me wonder. Have any of you guys seen like the Fantasia movies, whether the original or Fantasia 2000? I have not seen the original Fantasia, but I have seen Fantasia 2000. This anime looks kind of goofy. He kind of looks like he could be like a Gigantomonster from Tales of Vesperia a little bit.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. But it's not. I don't even know what it's called. He doesn't deserve a name, honestly. Like, you're weak. You don't deserve a name. But yeah, I own Fantasia 2000 on VHS. It was a good movie. You know, it's basically like just like a bunch of different like mini short cartoons, but instead of having like the only sound you get is like the sound of the band playing their instruments and whatnot. It's really cool. I need to see Fantasia 2000. I own it on VHS, but you know, problem is all of the VHS players that I have in my house are really old, so it's kind of just like, I don't know, one of those things. March! We'll do a supernova on you, buddy, or maybe an aurora curtain and a supernova. That'd be cool if I could do both. What if you could do, like, what if you get, like, Link things, like you get Link specials and whatnot, like in fighting games? That would be really cool. I'm sure you probably can, actually, it's just that you're gonna have to take someone with a lot more knowledge of the game than me, too. Anyway, whatever. Boom!
You don't look so good.
Let's do supernova. Well, actually, I'm not quite sure if you can. That'd be cool if you could, though. Supernova. Boom!
That was fun.
That was fun. We got a dragon scale,
That's better.
Level 51. Finally leveled up. Actually, she leveled up very quickly. She leveled up very quickly, actually. I mean, because she had. I guess it must have been from like the leftover experience that she got from leveling up from the boss. We all went up to level 51. I guess she did level up twice. All right. Technically, it's bearing his claws in his tail, but whatever. It's no big deal. Technicalities. Whoever cared about such silly stuff like that. Supernova. What if crabs had fangs? Oh, these are like crab scorpion type things, but what if they had... I should never check to see what they're called. They're not caravan crabs, they're just recolored caravan crabs. They're called trick-tails. And I wonder what... No, actually, the crab version is supposed to be like the nighttime version, right? Like for the caravan crabs, they were bats in the day, and they were the caravan crabs in the night. Right? Or was it the other way around? Whereas for the fish, whereas for the blue ones, it was like they were fish in the day and the crabs in the night. Sacred Strike, Supernova, and boom. There's no way he was going to survive that. Nearly did 100,000 damage. Sweet. Aurora Curtain should finish this guy up, I think. Maybe. No, it didn't. Alright, whatever. Spirit's Pathway should definitely finish this guy up, I think. Alright. What if I told you that there are 4 things in this world that don't make sense? 4 things? What do you mean by that? Well, there's a castle way down yonder. There's a pile of crap over there. Is that a person? Oh, that's looks like an Easter Island statue. It's a statue. Can we pick it up? I want to pick it up. Oh well, who cares? I saw like a white light way off over there. Alright, this must be like the dungeon, perhaps, maybe? Hey, you see those white lights? Alright. I'd like to get to a save station, actually. That's okay with you. Let's go ahead and enter. What's inside of here? Yeah, there hasn't been like any story-related cutscenes in a little while. I wonder why. Double Reed Tower of Sand. As in a instrument that uses a double reed, like a oboe or a bassoon. I played clarinet, which is a single reed instrument. I never, actually, come to think of it, I always use like number 3 reed. Have like any of you guys ever used like number 4 or 5 reeds before? I'm sure if like you're in like college or something, university playing band, you're probably using like a level 4. I use level 3 or number 3, level 3. I just like using like read numbers like video game levels or something. I don't friggin' know. Oh, these things. Yep, we're seeing a lot of enemy recolors now. Coup de Jarnock, please.
Forget the pain you felt.
Forget the pain you felt in your dream. Buzz drop. Yeah, they have those cannons on their back so that they can actually attack from behind, which is kind of weird in a way. Whatever, it's no big deal. This is all light, by the way. It looks dark, but it's all light, so I can do a supernova on you. Will that kill him? Yes, it will. I figured it would, but you never. But this is the dark. How can you tell the difference? I must have been in the shadow or something. Maybe that was it. I must have been in the enemy shadow. We just saved, didn't we? Why don't we save again? Because why not? Was that how it worked in Tales Game? Like I'm trying to remember in Tales of Vesperia, when you saved, did that cause the enemies to respawn? No, I must be making things up. Or did it work like that? I don't think it did, but at the same time I think it did. No, it didn't. Or did it? No. I don't think that caused the enemies to respawn. But it was just that you know, if you died and loaded a save, even if you kill all the enemies before you saved, they would still load back because that's just how the game worked. Yeah, the only time that the enemies respawn, yeah, was if you like loaded a save or something. Where, let's say like you left an area for a certain amount of time. It's a bit different from it's a bit different from this game where like enemies respawn literally as soon as you go to a different area. I don't know, it's just one of those things. Viola. Speaking of which, actually, there's one thing that I wanted to mention. Like, have you ever been curious about this? Why Tales of Vesperia, Tales of the Abyss, Tales of Legendia, Tales of Voted Dawn of the New World, this game, more recently Fire Emblem Awakening, why they all seem to have like similar voice actors and actresses for like the main cast and whatnot? Because they're all done by, all those games are done by the same dubbing company, Cup of Tea Productions, which is why you might see like a lot of those games that are done by Cup of Tea Productions. You'll see that a lot of the characters, like the voice actors and actresses, they're uncredited for a lot of their roles, and apparently you won't be. Apparently that information has not been revealed as to why they usually go uncredited for those roles. It's for legal reasons, and you won't be able to find any reason for it. I have a couple ideas in my head, but I'm not going to say them out loud because, you know, it's like, you know how things on the internet work. It's like if you say something, if enough people, you say something, it becomes a rumor. If enough people say a rumor, it becomes fact. That's why so many people don't quite understand how, like, finances and YouTube work and whatnot. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure that most people, like, for this is a question aimed more so for people who do videos than who don't, and who do monetize videos. Raise your hand if you know the difference between a CPM and an RPM. Be honest. Okay, now raise your hand if you knew what an RPM was before I said anything. Probably nobody. Probably not very many. It's because a lot of people tell you that CPM is the amount of money that you earn from your ads over a monthly basis. That's actually not true. CPM is your cost per milestone. That's the amount of money that is the amount of money that advertisers are willing to pay for an advertisement. That's not how much money you actually earn. The money that you earn is your RPM, your revenue per milestone, and this is after YouTube takes it, I believe it's 45% cut. And then, so basically, in order to figure out what your actual RPM is, you multiply your CPM by 0.65, and then after that, you have to take, after that, that's your base RPM, but you know, if you're a partner with an MCN or something, you have to take a cut, they take a cut from there, anywhere from 40% to, you know, 10% is how much they take. Most usually take about 30 to 20, but, you know, then you have to factor in that and everything, and that's how much you actually earn. A lot of people tell you that CPM is how much money you earn, which is incorrect. It's just one of those things, but, you know, it's just one of those things. In fact, I'm pretty sure that even I've said that before in some of my videos, because I've heard it from enough people, so I just assumed that it was fact, but it's actually incorrect. So, the same thing. The only way that I would ever know if that were true or not about the whole, or the only way that I would know if my theories are true or not is if I actually worked for Cup of Tea Productions, which I don't see happening for one reason or another. But even then, I wouldn't be able to tell you guys, so that's how things work. But yeah, they did the dubbing for all those games, which is why you see a lot of similar voice actors and actresses for all of those games. And the reason why they're so prevalent in Bandai Namco games, apparently from what I've read anyway, this is something I read from a random user on the internet, so take this with a grain of salt. Apparently, Bandai Namco founded the group. They don't own it, but they helped found it. So that's why they usually recruit them, because it's a lot cheaper because of that. At least that's what I've read anyway. It might be true, it might not be true. I mean, that's just how English dubbing works. Usually companies tend to rely on like one set group to do a bunch of different roles. That's like Atlas, I believe it's PCB Productions that they usually hire for English voice roles, and that's one of the common complaints for Funimation does, that they tend to use like the same voice actors and actresses over and over and over and over again. One of those things. But yeah, if you've ever been curious about that, why they tend to share like the same voice actors and actresses, now you know, Cup of Tea Productions. Although I believe for this game, Cup of Tea Productions only did the main cast. Just one of those things. But yeah, whatever. Just one of those random things that I found out about a while ago, but I never actually mentioned for one reason or another. But now I did, so there we go. Now I got that out of my chest, I feel like a happy man. Or do I? I don't know. Maybe I'm not happy. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe supernova, please. Supernova! And Harmony Chain. Eclipse Gaze. There we go. I really like Eclipse Gaze. That's a pretty cool move, in my opinion. It's a frame of mind, you see. You love what? Wait! Did Frederick level up before Viola? No. Okay, never mind. I was like, what? By the way, everyone learned, like, new moves. I should really mess with that, so... What's going on? Like, oh... You just... I'm confused, like, why... Oh, there was that, Eye of Horus. Attack plus 7... Okay, yep, shut up. You're not kidding. Why would I shoot straight out heal arrow? Full barrage, that's what it is. Infinite range, 3.3 seconds. Medium knockdown, piercing with the holy arrow. Arrows come down on nearby enemies. Let's try that. Frederick learned something new too, didn't he? Oh, that's right. And everyone and a couple people got new moves. What's it? New Moon? No, maybe it was Luna Strain. That's what it was. Scatter the enemy's shadow and any enemies behind it. I don't know. Frederick learned something new too, didn't he? Tri-Clementia, healing, infinite range, heal all party members. Ooh. Ooh. How does this work, though? Is this better than Spirit's Pathway? Ooh, we'll see. We'll see. Legion Fulminante. Fulminante. So you got the Tears left arm. Action gauge increases when attack hits. The left arm of the one-handed god tier. So his only arm, actually. And I believe, yeah, you got the Theos's Bone. Attack plus 1 for the 8. It gives you slow. Sword cut from the giant Theos's Bone. It freezes the enemy. Alrighty then. That's cool. Alright, so this was just a whole mess of nothing. This led to a dead end. So we're gonna have to go backwards. Wasn't that like a song? Was it Raven Simone who made that song? I remember. Yeah, no, it was Backflip. That's what it was called. It was like a song that they played on Disney Channel back in like the mid 2000s quite frequently. Back during the height of her fame because of That's So Raven and whatnot, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Am I making stuff up? I could be making stuff. I believe that's how it worked, right? It was called Backflip, right? Or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. I could be making stuff up for all you know. Let's go ahead and save. I figured we might as well, since we had to go all the way around back to this area. Might as well save all we can. This is going to lead to another area, huh? Now, East Tower, first floor. So, whoa, okay. I looked at...
How good you really are.
You see, that's probably why I should... It's a good thing I got a sneak attack on him. Okay, there's like a frickin' whatever, like a motorcycle driving by. Thank you, buddy. Remember to edit that out. Please. How is that? Oh, we gotta figure out how Tri-Clementia works, so we're gonna save up for like... Actually, first off, let's see what low echo Tri-Clementia does. Block? Oh, I mean, well, we can't right now, but I would really like to see. Is March next? Yes, she is after this. And block. Do a supernova on you, buddy. Aurora Curtain? I wanted to do supernova. I mean, it killed him, but whatever. Frederick is next. Let's see what low echo Tri-Clementia does. What? 4,000 for everybody with no echoes? Oh my goodness! Frederick is freaking the boss, man. Frederick is literally the boss right now. Like you just can't beat Frederick. Francois Chopin, the coolest character ever, man. You just wow. I was kind of afraid that maybe like trading that out for Sacred Signature might be bad, but no, man. The frickin' boss, man. He's freaking basically he's Bruce Springsteen. He's the boss. That's what I'm saying. You know, I guess not everyone's gonna understand that reference. Bruce Springsteen's nickname is the boss. You know, one of those things. Anyway, whatever the case may be, Let's get out of here. Get me out of here! You thought I was gonna forget to say that, didn't you? Get me out of here! Nope, I didn't. Let's go ahead and fight.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you indeed. Alright, whatever the case may be. Oh, before we get like super repetitive in the commentary sector, even though we have that whole random thing about Cup of Tea Productions for a little bit, what was I going to talk about? There was something I had planned out, right? I can't quite remember what it was, though. I can't. Or can I? I can't. Or can't? No, I can't. Oh, we'll just talk about another thing for a moment. So, let's talk about Kata wa Shoujo again, why don't we, huh? Okay, so... I remember in, about 2 recording sessions ago, I was talking about it, how... at the time of recording it, I had started the Ren's route, but then once by the time I uploaded it and was editing it, I started the Shizune route. And oops! Oh, I can still get a harmony chain at this. Oh, I didn't even see what... And I didn't even see what, listen to is 32 echo. So next time we do like a high echo version, I'll listen to it. Bone Crumble, please! But I remember, there's just one thing. Before I started that game, before I started watching the game, I remember someone mentioned, you know, being the good guy won't always get you the results that you want. And that made me a little paranoid at the very beginning, because I was just like, I don't know, I don't actually actively aim to be the good guy in video games, I really don't. It's just that when I play video games, I tend to do things the way that I would in real life, you know? And that just happens to be the good option, because that's just how it is, you know? It's like, you know, that's just how it is. It's like, you know, it's like, if I... Harmony chain, please. Full barrage. Full moon bind.
Not bad.
Not bad indeed. But where was I going with this? It was like, yeah, it just happens to be the good thing, because that's just how it is. And that's why I don't quite understand. Like, some people are just like, I shouldn't say that I don't quite understand, but I do know that some people are like, there are a lot of people who are like this, where they tend to actively go for like the bad route in video games and whatnot. Because they're like, oh, you know, they're fictional characters, they're not real, it doesn't matter, I can do whatever I want. And I'm not really a big fan of that, because honestly, in my experience anyway, that generally tends to, generally, people who are like that, I've noticed, generally tends to be very reflective of real life, in that they... Oh, so that's how it works, huh? So this leads to different paths. Like, okay. I see. It tends to be very reflective in real life. People who are like that are like, oh, they're video game characters, they're not real, I can treat them however I want. They tend to be not very emotionally aware of people in real life, and that's kind of why I'm not really... That's why I kind of... Like, whenever people are like that, I'm sort of just like, eh... That doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people, but it's just, it is what it is. But anyway, like, when I first started watching Dark's playthrough of it, I was really nervous. I was like, what's going on? Because, like, I tend to be the good guy. That's just how it is, because I saw one person's comment, like, being the good guy doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get the good ending or stuff, right? And that made me really paranoid at the beginning, but honestly, after having, now I'm on Lily's route, I'm about 3/4 of the way into it. I probably, if it weren't for the fact that I started Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations and thus have shorter renders for my Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday series, I probably would have finished it already, but, because, you know, Ace Attorney videos tend to take a lot, they take a lot less time to render than my normal videos do. And because I had the mega breaks with first the Sonic Mega Collection Plus, and then with Harmony Chain, and then with what is it? Then with It'll Do, I had plenty of time to finish up Shizune and Ren's route. But where was I going with this? But actually, now that I played through it, I know that Dark got the good ending on his first try every time, and with the exception of 2 choices in Ren's route, we made pretty much all the same decisions. So I know that I would have gotten like the good routes for pretty much everyone. And I looked at a flowchart of Ren's route just to see if like our 2 decisions, the 2 different decisions that we would make, would have made that much of a difference. And it looks like I saw a flowchart. It would have changed. That's one of those things where they say it so quietly I don't know what they're saying.
Forget the pain.
But what was it? What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. But you know, this like Ren's route actually has like the most choices out of anybody. Like she has like the most, and like it was actually kind of tough for a little bit because like with Ren's route what was interesting was that, you know, there are just these things where they would have like 2 or 3 options of things that basically got the same exact point across for the most part, but it was like a difference in nuance. Like for example, I'll use one choice here, which is pretty much one of the first choices that you make in the inner route. So I don't really consider this to be a spoiler. It's like you're in art, you're like in the art club, and you get the option of complimenting our art. So you have the option of either saying A, wow, you're really amazing, or B, I wish I was as good as you. Like, oh, I wish I was as good as you.
You foolish creatures.
Well, it is true that they both, get off the same nuance, or they get off the same intent. Like, oh wow, you're really good. The first one is a pure compliment, or the second one is a little self-deprecating. Like, oh wow, you're good, but I wish I was as good as you. You know, you have to pay attention to stuff like that. But you know, to be fair, Ren's route had like the most choices out of any route. So, you know, it's just one of those things. So it would make sense that, you know, those choices aren't nearly as important as, say, something like Shizune's route, who, even though it's one of the longest stories, she had the least amount of choices with, I believe, 2 out of the entire story. Just one of those things, I suppose. But, Supernova, please. Just one of those things. But anyway, back to the thing at hand. Someone's like, oh, you know, being the good guy, you know, won't always get you the right choices, and that made me really paranoid at first. But after going through all of Emi's, Hanako's, Ren's, Shizune's, and about 3/4 of Lily's route, I can say that person had no idea what they were talking about. That's all there is to it. I think they kind of didn't, because here's the thing with Hisao, the main character who you, I guess, sort of play as in the game. Like, he's a very interesting character. A lot of people didn't quite like him because of just how he was. Where it was basically like there are a lot of choices where it was very easy to like smother the girl, if you will. And I think in order to get like a good route, you had to understand that sometimes whenever you're helping out people, you know, like sometimes people aren't always looking at you to fix their problems. They're just looking at you to support them while they go through their problems, you know? And if you're trying to micromanage everybody's life and fix all of their problems, you know, that's not how things work. So, you know, for example, like, let's say that every character in the game is saying, they're giving you advice for saying, oh, you should probably lay off a little bit, give the girl some space. You know, literally every person in the game is like, oh, you should probably give her some space. You probably should. You probably shouldn't be like, oh, wow, these guys have no idea what they're talking about, even though they've known her a lot longer than me as a player and Hisao as a character have known them. So it's like, you know, I should probably, you know, just ignoring their advice and just pursuing them is just being arrogant. More than anything. That's not being the good guy, that's just being arrogant. And then there are also times where, like, sometimes you might accidentally embark on a touchy subject with somebody, and, you know, you have the option of either holding off for a little bit or pursuing it. And generally speaking, the game rewards you for being courageous and actually saying, oh, you know, that might be a bit touchy of a subject, but we should really discuss it. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell when you're just being nosy, like when like it's important to know this, or when you're just being nosy. For some of the girls, like it was a lot more important to actually just let them reveal it to you yourself. But you know, it's just like I can solidly say that person just had no idea what they were talking about. I hate to use a quote from Iron Man or from the Avengers 2, because I shouldn't say I hate to use it. I shouldn't say I hate to use it. I actually like the movie. It's just that I thought that it was rather meaty. It wasn't really as good as I was expecting it to be, and I was a little disappointed, I suppose. But what was I gonna say? Wow, that did like 7 damage. But what was I gonna? But like you know, there's a scene in the movie where they were talking about Ultron, and they said he doesn't know the difference between saving the world and destroying it, right? And I think that's kind of what that person was like. He didn't quite understand the difference between helping one of the girls and actually just, you know, just being a complete obnoxious, really smothering type person. It's just one of those things. I don't know. Like to me, most of the choices came rather instinctively. It was fairly obvious when you're supposed to pursue something, when you're supposed to back off, I think, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. I tend to have a rather high EQ as it is, or emotional quotient, not to be confused with IQ, which actually contrary to popular belief. I don't know. A lot of people assume that I have some like genius level IQ or something. I really don't. And I can say this with confidence because I've tested myself out for like my psychology class and whatnot. I really don't. I have a slightly above average IQ and nothing more. No, yeah, slightly above average. No, there's like slightly above average, and then there's above average, and there's genius, something like that. It was just below genius, so it was above average, but it wasn't quite genius level. So one of those things. But you know, I guess it comes with my personality type. I'm an INFJ personality type person, so it's just one of those things. So I think that's kind of why I tend to be a little bothered when people can't really like read other people very well, when they don't tend to be very hard. I don't know. One of those things, but I don't know. Anyway, if you guys, 2 weeks ago, at least not 2 weeks ago at the time of recording this, but 2 weeks ago at the time that this will go up, assume that everything goes according to plan, knock on wood that they do. I linked the playlist for Dark's playthrough of it, and I also linked the game in the description because you could get it for free. I highly doubt it because I don't think that very many of my regular viewers actually play visual novel type games or were even interested to begin with. But if you have, or even if you have before I mentioned it, Katawa Shoujo, feel free to let me know in your opinion and whatnot. I guess at this point I can say like what my favorite. So I'd say so far I'm about 3/4 of the way into Lily's route. I'd say that I have to agree with most people. Lily's probably my favorite, followed by Ren in second place. A lot of people didn't like Ren's route, but that's because she's very hard to understand. Like, she's a very confusing person, but I was able to understand her very well, which is why I liked her story a lot. Then probably Hanako's at third, because Hanako's route was nice and all. I really liked it, but I think really the highlight of Hanako's route was mostly just like the last like portion of it, in my opinion. Then Emi's route. I'd say Shizune's would be last because I don't know, Shizune's route felt really uneventful, I think. Like, usually, like, and honestly, I'm gonna say this right now, Shizune, without getting into too many spoilers, Shizune will definitely not be the main source of your problems, and that route will be someone else entirely. I won't say what, but, I don't know, it was very long, there weren't very many choices that you could make, and I don't know, it's like, as Dark explained, it didn't really feel like they were in a relationship, it just felt like nothing really happened for the most part. It felt a little long, despite the fact that I believe it's just as long as Lily's route. Lily's route still seems a lot better, despite it being long. Despite it being long, just as long, simply because it has a lot more choices, and being in a relationship with her actually makes a difference. Well, actually, being in a relationship with Shizune does make a difference. I'm not going to talk about that because that'd definitely be getting into spoiler territory. That would be a major spoiler. You're dead. I had so much confidence in March that I just assumed that she was gonna kill them without having to do a harmony chain. But yeah, then Shizune's less. I mean, that's not to say that Shizune's story is bad. It's just that compared to everyone else's, it felt like it was a little bit lackluster. But yeah, that's my opinion on that.
You foolish creatures.
You foolish creatures. But there was something that I wanted to talk about. It was not Katawa Shoujo. I swear it was not Katawa Shoujo. That was just filler commentary until I could think of what I wanted to talk about. But I can't quite remember what it is that I wanted to talk about. I guess we could do story time, whatever, just a minor story. Okay, so, for those of you who don't know, I am a bit of a Japanophile. A really big Japanophile. I really am. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who's like anti-whatever country I come from, Japan all the way. You know, I live in the US, I am American, and that's cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not one of those like anti-American type people, but I think I don't feel like I should have to explain that, but I think like a lot of people get it in their head that like when you like another country, that automatically means that you dislike your own country for one reason or another. It's one of those things. But that's not what I was going with it. And you know, when actually I enjoy the Japanese language quite a bit. Like, I studied in university, but I swear it's very rare that I'm not, like, doing something Japanese related, whether it's like watching a Japanese Let's Play Japanese Let's Play to like listen to, just to like get some listening practice in, or listening to like some Seiyu radio shows to get listening practice, you know, studying kanji, something. I'm always doing Japanese related stuff. Like that's just how it is. Like if it's not Let's Plays, it's either I'm either doing something Japanese related or watching anime. I'm gonna put anime in a separate category because simply watching anime, I don't know. That's not like Japanese. I don't know, maybe I'm just making stuff up. Let's go ahead and save. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's hard to explain. I believe, like, culturally speaking, it only makes up about 1/10 of Japan's culture or something like that, if even that. No! That's what manga, which is a lot bigger than anime in Japan, makes up about 1/10. Anime, that's really not very much a Japanese culture, but
Let's see how good you really are.
beside the fact, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. The story time is about anime related, and for those of you who don't know, I watch a lot of anime. I've said this before. I don't know how you wouldn't know because I'm gonna just explain things, but I was never really into like H anime, like as in like Edo anime or hentai, if you will. Oh, this is gonna be a very awkward story, by the way. Needless to say, I shouldn't have to say this due to this subject matter of the story, but you know, you've been warned. I'm going to, I've never been into H anime or anything of that sort. Not even like live action stuff that has to do like that, because, I don't know. While most people get like super into that stuff at like whatever age, like I've just always been like, ew, that's icky. Like, I don't know, like I'm saying that as a joke, but I'm actually somewhat serious, despite the fact that I'm turning nearly 20 years old. I'm turning nearly, despite the fact that I'm turning 20 years old in September, I still find a lot of that stuff to be just gross. Just because, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm weird, okay? But I'm gonna tell you about my one and only experience with H anime, like, ever. This is an interesting story. Okay, so I've told you before that like I've never watched, like, or I shouldn't say I never. I wasn't really allowed to watch anime as a child. I was part of the generation, you know, being born in the early to mid 90s. I was part of the generation that watched, you know, like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, whatever on Toonami and Foxbox before it became 4Kids TV. But I wasn't really allowed to watch any of that. I didn't really start getting into anime until around 2006. My parents decided to start being a little less strict on TV and whatnot. Because it wasn't just anime that I was restricted from watching. I was restricted from watching a lot of things.
How pitiful.
You soulless creatures. And so, yeah, my friends got me into Naruto. Like, I don't think that I was ever... even though I got into anime back then, I don't think that I was nearly as big of a fan of anime as I am now. Like, the research, it's like middle through early high school, I was pretty into anime, but I really only watched like the big, you know, long-running shonen battle shows. And then I sort of stopped watching anime, like a lot of major anime, and later in high school. Like I watched like Fairy Tail and Dragon Ball Z because I wanted to make up for like not really watching Dragon Ball Z very much as a child. But I wasn't really as into anime then. And then college came, and I got back into anime, and now I've just been hooked in, you know, stuff, and that, I mean, the rest is history. I mean, I've said before that I want to do voice acting work in anime. That's for a different time, though. But, in 7th grade, I had this friend. Well, we're not really friends anymore. He was kind of a douche, to be honest. He was not a very friendly person, but he told me about this interesting world of H anime, right? And he told me about this anime called The Blue Girl, right? Now, I didn't watch it, initially, I should say. And in fact, if it was up to my own free will, I probably would have never watched it at all. If I were to be honest. But what I did was, this is when I was in 7th grade, so I was like 12 years old. I did what every sensible 12-year-old did when, you know, they hear about something that involves, you know, boobs and things of that sort. I went to Wikipedia and looked it up. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, this anime is very weird. I don't want to watch it. So then, fast forward to a couple of months later, and I went over to a friend's house. It was a friend and his older brother. I was friends with both of them, but I talked to the younger brother a bit more. The younger brother was my age. The older brother was a year older than me. I was telling him about this anime, La Blue Girl, and you know, for some reason the older brother didn't believe me because of how absurd it sounded. So he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't believe you. We're gonna see it right now. So we went on the main computer of all things. The main, I was over at his house, by the way. We went on the main computer, which is in the living room. So this wasn't secret in any way. This wasn't secret in any way, and we decided to watch it, or rather, the older brother decided to watch it, and he dragged me and the younger brother in to watch it too. Right? We didn't even watch the whole episode, by the way. This is what happened. So we look at it. I don't even know what website we went to watch it. I want to say it was YouTube, but I highly doubt it was YouTube for one reason or another. Even though technically you can have nudity on YouTube, it's just that, you know, those videos require to be age-gated, and I don't believe that you can monetize age-gated videos, but you can still technically have it. It's just that, you know, it's generally frowned upon to do that, which is why video games like God of War and whatnot are allowed to be shown, sometimes even uncensored, like, for one reason or another. But, where was I going with this? But, so we decided to watch it, and it seemed like, at first it seemed like relatively normal. You have this girl, I don't really know what her name was, we'll just call her the Blue Girl for short, and, who's, by the way, in the Japanese version, she's 15, they aged her up to 18 in the English version, or so the Wikipedia page said, and so it started out like just like a normal Japanese, or just like a normal battle shonen type thing. You see her walking in like this random field, and then all of a sudden this monster comes out, right? And like they start talking, and they're like, and it's very obvious that they're about to get into a fight, right?
Don't get mad at me.
And at this moment, me and my friend are perfectly calm. We're just like, okay, nothing. I mean, it's just, we knew bad stuff was going to happen, but you know, it's just at the moment it just seemed pretty normal. So they start fighting, right? The Blue Girl, whatever her name was, and the demon, they start fighting each other, and then whatever the case may be, after a while she jumps into the air, and then, you know, the guy like threw a kunai at her, and it went straight through her shirt and revealed her bra, right? And so like I did what me and the younger brother did, what any sensible 12-year-old would do when the instant we saw boobs. We freaked out and we started screaming at the top of our lungs. We're like, oh my god, no, get this away from us, get this out of her face, get this out of her face. Ooh, we're just freaking out over here. In retrospect, it really wasn't that bad, because all we saw were just boobs. It's just that, you know, at 19, if I were to see that, I'd probably be pretty uncomfortable, but I wouldn't, like, freak out or anything. But, you know, it wasn't even boobs, it was just a bra. But, you know, it's just one of those things. And then, like, and so then they start fighting even more, and then as the fight progresses, like, the girl's clothes just start ripping more and more and more and more, and then by the end of things, like, her skirt, she was in a schoolgirl uniform, surprise, surprise, and, it ripped and it tore, and then she was basically in just her bra and underwear, and me and my friend were just screaming. Me and the younger brother were just, I was friends with both of them, so I shouldn't just refer to the younger brother as my friend. Me and the younger brother were just screaming so much at them, that the older brother he was just like, okay, this is getting stupid, you're gonna get us caught, so I'm just gonna turn this off right now. And that was probably like a 2-minute long thing, but it freaked me out. Me and the younger brother, like, we talk about it, we joke about it from time to time now, because it was just so silly. Because really, in retrospect, it really wasn't that bad, but that was just how, like, young and innocent we were back then. We were just like, no, get this out of my face. And that was my one and only experience with the H anime. Or at least watching it anyway. I know, like, sometimes, like, people are like, oh, this anime is really terrible, don't do it. And although, like, the lustful side of me, I'm able to usually say, you know, I probably shouldn't watch it, I'm usually able to defeat that. My curiosity side, it's like, well, I should, even if I'm not going to watch it, I should at least, like, Wikipedia it or something to see just how bad it is. Like, get the general synopsis to see how bad it is, because that's just how I am. I like to look up stuff from Wikipedia and whatever wikis there are, because that's the type of person I am. That's why I'm always spoiling stuff for me. Just one of those things, I suppose. But yeah, that was my one and only experience, like, watching H anime or things of that sort. So, you know, I've told you that story, so, now you guys... I'm curious if you guys have had any awkward situations. Do you watch H anime regularly? I mean, I'm not gonna judge you if you do. I guess, from what I understand, that tends to be the more natural human thing to do. I'm just happen to be unnatural and that I'm not really interested in stuff like that, but the reason why I went down is because I wanted to do the save station, but I want to see if I can go up and see if there's another save station. Let's see. So we went up this one. I think we went up two sets of stairs. Yeah, we fought those enemies, so then we go up here. These aren't stairs, but whatever. Let's go up. And let's see. Is there a save station nearby? I want to get a save station. Let's fight you.
You foolish creature.
Yeah, that was my awkward story. To make up for the fact that I don't do awkward pauses in the final episode of the recording session, I just decided to do an awkward story. I accidentally bumped to the Y button like an idiot. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. To be fair, though, before I start the whole Katawa Shoujo thing, like, that was actually the story that I had planned to talk about. I was slightly embarrassed to talk about it, so I was just like, maybe I should hold off and pretend I have no idea what I'm talking about until I think of something else. So I was just like, whatever, I'll just tell it. I mean, I've already built enough information as it is on this channel, you know, as it is what it is. You know, I've talked about all sorts of things, like, I might as well, I've even talked about that fake girlfriend that I had for, like, 3 months back in my freshman year of high school. So, you know, it's like, I'll just talk about anything at this point. Well, I guess not anything, but, you know, whatever. I shouldn't say that she was a fake girlfriend either, because she actually did exist, just I didn't actually go out with her. One of those things. But... which is one of those things, I suppose. Well, how's it going this? I mean, that's kind of the reason why I said that I wanted to do voice acting work in Japanese and in English. It's just one of those things because it's very easy to like. The reason why I said that to you guys, and I've said it multiple times, is because you know I don't want an excuse to chicken out, you know, because like honestly it's a very reckless decision, career path that I chose to do, but it is what it is. It is what it is, but you know, it's like if I didn't say anything, it's very easy for me to say, well, you know, I didn't really tell anybody about this, so very easy to tell people about this, so you know, I didn't tell anybody about this, so it's like I don't really have to do anything. But since I've told you guys multiple times, that's sort of like I don't really have an excuse. I've told you guys the word is out there. I might as well seal the deal at this point, because honestly, I think for me anyway, the toughest point was like admitting it to people, because honestly, even to this day, I don't really tell people about that. Like when I tell people I'm majoring in Japanese and Chinese in college, I usually tell them that, you know, it's because I want to do like be like an interpreter, like a foreign translator or something, you know, because it's just one of those things. This is, but where was I going with this? Yeah, it was just one of those things. And that's the reason why I said everything. Not really afraid of anything. Like I said, learning the language isn't really that big of a problem. Of course, there is like, I don't know. It's like for me, it's like when it comes to speaking Japanese, it's like it's on and when it comes to like my accent, it's like on and off. Like sometimes like I have like pretty much like a perfect accent, and then sometimes like I have like a very slight or a very obvious American accent. Usually I believe, like if I were to say like a random, I think it's harder for me to like switch to a Japanese accent like on the fly. Like let's say like I say like a random like Japanese word while I'm speaking English. You know, like I'm going to naturally say it in like a slightly American accent, whereas when I'm just like speaking like pure Japanese on the other hand, I'm going to have like a slightly better accent. Slightly better accent. It's just one of those things. I mean, realistically, with the way that things are, I could very easily get typecasted in doing voice acting in Japan for just being like the generic foreigner who happens to speak Japanese, which is always a possibility. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, I've seen it is what it is. But you know, it's just one of those things. At this point, you know, I'm not really expecting anything. I don't have like any like set in stone expectations for anything, because it's like if there's anything that I've learned from YouTube, it's like how you picture something to be very rarely is how it actually is. I don't even know if that makes any sense. It's just like how YouTubing, for example, is very different from how I expected it to be. So like doing voice acting work, like, is this like a shortcut? Will this lead to like the main floor or something? The other way is like a straight path. I feel like that might lead to like a boss or something. Oh no, that just leads to that. Whatever, it's just an extra chest, I don't even really care. At this point in the game, it really doesn't even matter. Jeez, I've been rambling for quite a bit. Oh, there's a save station! Good, I can end off the recording session. What I wanted to do. I was looking for a save station I can end things off. But yeah, that's that. Without further ado, we can end things off here. Save. Complete. So without further ado, let's go ahead and end things. So, if you like this video, this series of videos, please feel free to leave a like. If you thought it was cool, please feel free to subscribe and join the Elven Brotherhood today. Also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MegaShadowFist. I'll be sure to leave that in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is MegaShadowFist signing out. Bye. What? Why did I say it like that? Bye. Bye!